I am. Sorry again. I'm getting back into the possibly buying a new camera game at the moment. I haven't bothered buying a new camera for 4 years now. Ever since I got my Panasonic GH4, I've never needed to upgrade. It's a fantastic camera. Micro Four Thirds system, mirrorless. Great video features, great photos. Everything's all absolutely brilliant. And I'm looking at what's out on the landscape of photography buying just now. And I see Nikon has gone into mirrorless as well. And they've gone into mirrorless full frame with not very many lenses. But they've also now recently brought out a smaller mirrorless camera, which will be accepting all these new lenses that they're going to be making. This Z mount lens, I think it's called. And they've brought out this small one, which is called the Z50. And it is astonishing just how much you're getting for it. So for £850, so not a huge amount of cash. In fact, also, if I go to Amazon, I have found it with the adapter, because at the moment Nikon haven't brought out a huge number of that specific lens mount, lenses with that mount for that camera. But if you get it here, wherever it's coming with the adapter, the FTZ adapter, for under £1,000. Oh no, that's with the kit lens. So here, just the camera. If you've got some of your old Nikon lenses, I think it's a G series of lenses that you've got, you can stick all of them onto this new mirrorless camera body, and it's looking pretty good. And just looking at the stats here, you've got to be impressed. 11. This is what I don't understand. 11 frames a second. Okay, that's cool, but that is with autofocus. That blows my mind. That is like that with autofocus. I understand if it was 11 frames a second, and then in the small print it was saying, and with autofocus it's 8 or something like that. But to see, that is what it is. It's 11 frames a second with autofocus. In fact, I'll go to their actual website here. Yeah, 11 frames a second with autofocus and auto exposure, 20 megapixels, so that's more than you'll ever need. 4K video, tilting touchscreen. I'll be interested to see how well that works. Tilting goes down the way, not the most handy if you're using a tripod or even like a handheld mount. You know, not that you should use this one, but if you had it on a little handheld mount, it wouldn't really work going down the way. So that I'm not hugely impressed by. But and it's software, it's Wi-Fi stuff. I've not been hugely impressed with Nikon in the past. But let's have a little look. Yeah, 11 frames a second with continuous shooting, all kinds of movies. 4K at 30 frames a second. That should be standard. And then it just says, and shoot slow motion. It doesn't quite say what the slow motion is. Let's see, does it... Okay, it took quite well for me to actually find it. If you go into the online manual for Nikon, finally got it here. So we've got 30 frames a second at 4K UHD, fine. We've got 1080p at 120 frames a second. Nice. 120 frames a second, that's awesome. 1080p, slow motion, 30p times 4. So yeah, so it's saying you can slow it down by 4 times if you shoot at 120 frames a second. Cool. Actual frame rates for 120 blah blah are so yeah, okay, cool. So 120 frames full HD video recording. That is that's astonishing. Very impressed with that. What else is there? One bit which I haven't seen people talking about is the on-sensor autofocus points covering 90% of the frame. That's good. That means you can literally focus at any point in the image, which is what you want. A lot of, certainly the full frame cameras sensors, the focus points are sometimes like clustered right in the center, and no use if you're trying to shoot in the thirds kind of area of an image. Lots of time you have to focus then recompose, which is a bit annoying. But with this, you've got it pretty much covering the whole image. Nice, very good. Yeah, and it's small and it's light. And more importantly, its ISO ability. There's a person, Ricky Talks, I saw his video where he's comparing it against the full frame Z6, and it is really doing well for an APS-C sensor. I would say this is kind of like Nikon D. What did I have? Nikon D7? No, Nikon D700. That's kind of the level of quality that we're getting here. It's hugely impressive. Going to 12,800. This should just be mush. It should be mush. There's a bit of color cast, and this is it without any editing noise clearing up as well. So that's easily taken out with a bit of luminance control and chroma correction in Adobe Lightroom. So you get 12,000 ISO for an APS-C size mirrorless camera. What a stonker! The only thing about this, okay, the slight challenge, Z50, very impressed. The fact you can put on all your old Nikon lenses and they'll work. Price-wise, if we go to Nikon, where are we? So we're seeing we can get it all the way down to £750, British pounds, we're talking about here. The challenge is Sony have kind of been smashing it in this area. Let's see their cameras. E-mount cameras. If we went full frame with Sony, granted the lens prices might be a bit more expensive, but a Sony A7 Mark II for around about the same price. Ooh. But the thing is, the Sony has in-camera image stabilization, so they stabilize the image via moving the sensor around, which is what the Nikon doesn't have. So Nikon seem to have such a huge area for where their little sensor is. You think they could have put in a motor to take away some of the vibration reduction, some of the wobbliness in some of your shots. Especially handy if you can get it during your videos. So that's a bit of a bummer. But otherwise, if you've got Nikon gear, got Nikon lenses and stuff like that, and you're not wanting to jump ship to a different company, and you only want to spend under £1,000, getting this with the adapter, if you're just needing a secondary camera, what a great camera. Or let's say you've got a member of your family that's getting into photography and they've got a budget of around about £800, £900 to spend on a camera. That's definitely good. What I do suspect though is that by this time next year, Black Friday time, it will probably be down to, what we're seeing it just now, we saw it about £750. I reckon we could easily be seeing it around about more the £600 in probably about a year's time. So 2020 November time, maybe around about 600, 650 with the adapter, maybe. So if you're not in a rush, I would hold off. But otherwise, that is a very, very good camera that just blows everything out of the water that was around 5 years ago. Yeah, there you go. That's just my thoughts.